And we're on the home stretch here on the Sports Fix, and I've got Paul Pearce from the Eyre Peninsula Cricket Association, one of our most reliable correspondents, to talk all things Eyre Peninsula Cricket after a very, very, very big weekend for the relevant associations. Paul, how are you going?
Yeah, I'm pretty good, thanks, Ellis. And you called me reliable. The 1 week I did miss, I paid for handsomely this year, so I'll promise to be reliable from now on.
No, you're an invaluable asset to the Flow network here, Paul, and we'll get straight into it, starting with all things Great Flinders. Now, there was some action on the weekend in the Great Flinders Association, so why don't you take us through it? This one was between Kapini, Mount Hope and Yolunda Flat. Tell us what went on, Paul.
Yeah, this one was played at the Cummins Oval, Town Oval, which is the headquarters for the Great Flinders League. Kapini Mount Hope have been up towards the top of the ladder all year, and Yolunda Flat have been hanging around that third all year as well. But the Hillbillies from Yolunda Flat, they batted first and made 108, which probably not enough you wouldn't have thought in a prelim final, but we'll get to more of that later on. The best of the bat for the Flat Boys was Craig Povey, who's getting like a fine wine, finer with age, and Jake Marnie came on late for the Kapini Mount Hope boys and cleaned up the tail and took 3 for 1, so great effort from Jake to restrict Yolunda Flat. And in reply, Kapini Mount Hope, they didn't have it all their own way, but they got there in the end with 6 wickets down. 6 for 109, passing Yolunda Flat score. Jack Green, the best of the bat with the Kapini boys with 58 not out. And a name we always mention every week just because we love it, Ballbag Franklin was the pick of the bowlers for Yolunda Flat with 3 for 24. So, solid win for the Kapini boys heading into the grand final coming up this week.
There we go, and we'll certainly be looking forward to that one. Now, switching our attention to all things Eastern Eyre, and we had some action play out at Cleve Oval Saturday. So this was Cal hosting Port Neale. So how did this one unfold?
Yeah, it was played at the Cleve Oval. The Eastern Eyre have decided that they like to play all their prelim finals on neutral grounds, which is probably a good thing, getting away from any home ground advantage, make it even for everyone. So, Cal and Port Neale both ventured to the beautiful Cleve Oval. And Cal must have won the toss. They batted first. They batted 175, which is a pretty damn good score. A few of the names mentioned here, ones we mentioned quite a lot too. Zane Wycamp was the pick of the Cal batters at 55 and backed up by Carl Jeske, who made 34. So, super consistent seasons from those two guys. And how's this? The best of the bowlers for Port Neale was probably the informed bat in country Australia at the moment, Cooper Llewellyn, who also wicket keeps. But on Saturday he bowled and took 4 for 44. So pretty solid effort from Cooper.
I'm just interested in your prior comments there, Paul, about home ground advantages. We hear more and more that I guess the margins there are sort of narrowing in when it comes to how advantageous it actually is to host games. So you've obviously got your ears as close to the ground as anyone does there when it comes to all things Eastern Eyre cricket. Talk to us about, in terms of the sort of historic timeline, has home ground advantage really counted for a lot when it's come to finals time in your association there?
It may have, with the addition of a few more teams into the league over the last couple of years, it may well come to an advantage for those teams. But I reckon everyone's used to travelling nowadays, aren't they? We've had that rule in for maybe 15 or so years now, so everyone seems happy with it and happy to. The club not playing seems happy to host the game, so it works out well for everyone, and everyone thinks it's a pretty fair and even way to do it. But home ground advantage, it's not as if we've got 20,000 people there supporting the home side, is it?
No, it's not, and we'll move across to La Hunt with that in mind. So on Saturday we had the Western Districts defeating Kyne-Cutter, so at Woodena. So what went down here?
Yeah, so Western Districts, their home grounds are usually split between the towns of Minnipa and Poochera, but the Woodena Cricket Club, they've gone into recess this year, and a few guys from Woodena have come up to Western Districts to fill up the numbers up there, and so as a result, and also all the finals in the Lee Hunt League are played on the turf at Woodena, being one of the only 2 turf pitches on Eyre Peninsula. I think they're really keen to keep using it. So for the last month or so of the season, they're playing as many games as they can, rather than just having it used for 1 week and then not used for 4 weeks or 5 weeks sort of thing throughout the season. So it makes good sense. So it's effectively become Western District's home ground. And for the second half of the season, and the results will tell you, there is a bit of a home ground advantage. Colin Cutter batted first and made 113. Not a real lot to speak in the batting, but with the bowlers, young Nathan Davis took 3 for 26. And he was backed up with by Kyson Shepherd, who opened the bowling and took 3 for 39. So pretty good effort from the Western District boys with the ball. However, when they came out to bat, they passed their score with only loss of 1 wicket. So Western District's 1 for 115 did it on the trot. The best of the batters there were Brucey Gosling, a name that's been around for a long, long time and probably still will be for a long time. He made 56 not out, and Angus Gunn, who's a pretty damn good bat too, he made 30 not out. So Western Districts, that's their last final game, final minor round game. They're heading into the finals in some good form, so they'll be looking forward to that.
Most certainly, and just as we sort of look to wrap here, Paul, the Far West Cricket, a lot happening there on Saturday, so I'll throw right over to you. Yeah,
this was probably the game of the peninsula anywhere to be seen, and one of the, more exciting games maybe for the year. This is the prelim final between Thevenard and Ceduna, played at the Ceduna Town Oval. Thevenard came out batted first, and there must have been a fair bit in the old stick-down wicket, rolled-out wicket, because they were all out for 51. And for a team that's batted pretty well all year, they would have been pretty disappointed with that. With the ball, Charlie Williams from Ceduna took 5 for 5 from his 9 overs, so pretty good effort from Charlie there. He's had a fantastic season. Also bowled well were Joseph Beattie with 2 for 24 and Buff Bennett with 2 for 8. Now, the top score for Thevenard, interestingly, was extras with 19. So the best score off the bat was 13 from a couple of guys. So 51, not going to win you too many games at all. However, Ceduna came out to bat and Thevenard took off where Ceduna left off with the ball, and they had Ceduna all out for 42, so falling 9 runs short. Everyone's probably pretty disappointed in their batting, especially Ceduna to fall short, chasing a tiny score like that. Best of the ball was Josh Cummings with 3 for 18, and then there were 2 wickets each to Jared Trowbridge, Lockie Wilkins and Josh Threadgold. So, yeah, that was a fairly exciting game with only 93 runs being scored for the day. Ceduna would be pretty disappointed with their lot, and that's curtains for them for the season. And Thevenard, move on to the grand final next week.
And what are the lessons that should be learned here from Ceduna?
Well, probably for Thevenard too. Just because it's a rolled-in pitch doesn't mean that it's not going to do anything. Obviously, it did quite a bit for everyone to take lots of wickets and not many runs being scored. But, a bit of pressure. That goes a long, long way too, doesn't it? Pressure builds, and obviously Ceduna capitulated under that pressure, much to their disgust.
Well, Paul Pearce from All Things Eyre Peninsula Cricket, very comprehensive wrap, and we thank you so much for it. Plenty still coming up. Of course, we'll be chatting to you later in the week as we preview all the upcoming games from your association. Thank you very much for joining us on the Sports Fix, Paul.
No worries, Ellis. Thanks for that. Look forward to it.